What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Cast Me Outside with me, Aaron. How we doing? Today's date is March 26th, 2025. Hope you're feeling well. If this is your first time here, welcome to Cast Me Outside. It's my podcast. Right now it functions as a video journal, and sometimes at the end we'll go into advice. I find advice off the internet, and we try to make light of it. I'm Aaron. Stand-up comedian, normal guy. I don't know. The intro is done, though. That is what I do know. And as a podcaster who loves podcasts, I'm a podcaster who loves podcasts. I actually got two servings of Joe Rogan in, which is kind of rare for me. But I had two people that I like. Chris Williamson and Josh Waitzkin. Two different episodes, but they were back to back. Chris Williamson is like a podcaster, kind of influencer, but Josh Waitzkin was this chess champion at a young age, and then he got really into like Chinese martial arts and became a champion with that, and then like started training with all these jiu-jitsu guys, and now what he does is he trains foiling, and he trains like high achievers, I think, in like the finance world and the Boston Celtics. So he's just this like guy that became obsessed with like learning and training, and he just has this like awesome, I think, philosophy of learning, and he's just like, I think maybe there's something about his voice that's just I really like too, like the way he talks. But it was like another banger episode with him. I had a small obsession with him not too long ago while I was doing the podcast. So within the past 3 months, and yeah. Let me see if I can pick out some parts. You know what it is I'm avoiding going right to the AI part, but I guess if that's just what's on my mind, is he was like, yeah, I work with a lot of AI companies and I guess advise them, and for him it's like it's all about reinventing yourself. Like he talks about humility a lot, like being able to go back to being a beginner. And he's really a guy that like loves training. He has like such this warrior energy, and you can tell like he I think he did even mention like his family being a little bit annoyed that he is so dedicated to training, and it's pretty actually it makes me really excited just to like see the archetypes, the prince or the king, warrior, magician, lover, just to see them in people. And then you get like a lot of people I look up to are like strong in the warrior, and I think Josh is one of them. And even when he was doing chess, it was very much like attack. And then he did martial arts, which is like a 1v1, and he did jiu-jitsu, which is a 1v1, and now he's doing surfing, where his like opponent is himself and the ocean. Like people who hang out on the ocean, they get this humility and they get this like energy. He was going off on energy, and I'm like, yeah, dude, that's my word of the month is 100% energy. But he's not on social media. I'm like, okay, surprise, the guy who actually is passionate at being great at stuff doesn't spend 5 hours a day staring at a screen. Like, but he said something that was really creepy. Like he said, like, he's in these spaces with these people, and I guess an AI guy, I don't know what that means, but someone who was in AI years ago, kind of, I guess, before like the mainstream push, said something. He said, if they wanted to, they could convince you to move to Alaska in 2 weeks. Like just that's how manipulative. And he was kind of talking about like elo. I forget exactly what elo is, but it's a term that's used in video games and chess to like describe the ranking of a player. So what your like a high elo is a better player. And he was talking about just how the elo of AI is so insane, and it's going to take away so many people's livelihood, and are people going to basically, this is like a little bit of me synthesizing, but are people going to be able to kind of humble themselves enough to become a beginner at how to live their life? Is kind of how I interpreted it. Because if everyone's meaning gets wiped out by this AI, that's so much better than you. His elo is so much higher than you. It's like the difference between a grandmaster and a child that's really good. It's like, I guess I remember some of the numbers. It's like, he was like, when I was a kid and playing in a child chess champion, my elo was 1900. A grandmaster's elo is like 2800. And then an AI chess bot's elo is 3600. So it's like this just entire jump. This jump between like a kid and an adult is that between an AI and a grandmaster. So it's we're not the biggest fish in the pond anymore. And it is kind of funny how, like, just because we are the smartest species, like, how, like, dummies, like, take that. Like, they take the win of being a person when maybe you're, like, the dumbest person, but still you're the smartest animal. You're in the smartest animals, and you've done so much. You're like, yeah, we're people. We're great, but it's like, I'm a person and I'm not that great. Just a little ego boost, but that is where our ego is that we're the top of the food chain, and how are we going to find meaning or like, I don't know, cope with it? But yeah, just the manipulation part was so poignant to me, because I guess that's something that I'm like really interested in, and I really like feel the pool of social media. I feel the time wasted. Like this is another Joe Rogan episode, the one with Chris Williamson. Like he was listing people's regrets, and it's like working too much, worrying too much, not taking opportunities enough or taking risks. And that was like everyone's regrets who died within the past 40 years. But he was like, in the next 40 years, when we interview everyone on their deathbed, their regrets going to be spending too much time on the phone. So it's already stronger than us. It's already taking a third of our life, essentially, screens at least. And then, yeah, it's already taking a third of our life. So what chance do we have, like, to defend the other 2/3? Like, and so I don't know, because I do like social media. I'm hooked. Like, wouldn't it be cool to talk and make stuff and be like a part of all this like creative energy? So that's just something that I guess I have to kind of deal with. Like, is there some type of internal wall that's like, there's a piece of you that truly believes this is counterproductive, yet you're like trying to get better at it and be more involved in it and have like a presence. So I don't know, it just made me think. And yeah, just like Josh and the energy, I want to get his book. I tried to listen to it. And I think I just found like one chapter on YouTube, and it was cool. But he's like, yeah, that like in tuneness. When I was listening to a couple of his episodes, this didn't come up in the Joe Rogan one, but something that I kind of inferred was like his ability to kind of relax, to allow the information to settle in. And maybe that brings me to nsdr, which I saw a local yoga studios doing nsdr at almost in exactly a month. So I'm gonna sign up for that. But I've been doing it, and I've been falling asleep 10 minutes in, and then I just end up sleeping for an hour and a half. And I feel like the sleep is good. I think I need it because I've been exercising so much. That's what I tell myself. I say, I'm going to sleep and I'm going to wake up a little extra jacked. Like, even if I sleep for 2 hours, at least I woke up slightly more jacked. What, I don't know. See, I don't know if I'm eating enough calories, getting enough protein. But that's what I tell myself. It's like, sleep is good. I don't know if I'm going to regret wasting the amount of time sleeping. I think I would regret the amount of time I spent not getting up. But as far as the time actually sleeping, I don't know. But another thing I don't know is how the fuck I'm going to get it right. Because so basically what's happened is I stay up till 1, wake up at 7, come back to work, sleep from like 5 to 7, 4 to 6, sleep for about 2 hours, and then I stay up till about 1. And it's just not good. So I think I need to go to bed at like 10 or 11. I get well enough, like sleep well enough, maybe like have whatever other missing pieces I'm missing, whether it's like nutrition or hydration, get those in and do like 45 minutes of recovery, midday recovery. That's like, that's how I'll frame it. This is my midday mental recovery. And right now my midday mental recovery is like a goddamn movie. But who knows? So yeah, I guess I'll that was good vibes from that episode. That got me really inspired. Was playing Marvels. Just had to peel myself off of Marvels because I was on a little bit of a win streak, and I upped my my rating, or my league. I upped my elo. See, that's like another. So I was like being manipulated by social media, being manipulated by video games. It's like, as a person who I guess is pretty receptive to the dopamine manipulation tactics that are implemented by these apps and video games, like I need to be a warrior setting boundaries, because I will let too much of my time slip away. Yeah, like I'm trying to like kind of think about where I am. Like if I'm in, it feels like I'm in a good spot. It feels like things actually are all lining up really well. I just need to stay course. I feel like I always need a day. Just give me one day. One extra day to kind of get some of my shit together. I think that's the theme the theme of the rest of the year too. It's consistency and like getting my shit together, or even, faking it till I make it to having my shit together for the time being. Like, I feel like faking it is the same as striving for it. And again, back to Josh, just like my inability to get amazing at something. It's definitely the ADHD. It's like I have the ability to be passionate about something for 2 weeks. I can even be passionate about something for a year. But as far as being like passionate, disciplined, consistent, and doing it for 10 years and becoming like a master, that seems so much like a boat that I've missed. I've just missed the boat on that. I don't know. It does kind of come down to skill stacking, I think. In a lot of ways, a lot of the skills I feel like I've developed do sync up and synergize and have a team up ability. Like in Marvel Rivals, like just make everything about video games. It's all just like life is Marvel Rivals. You know what is creepy about the game? Like after like a session, I'll like close my eyes and like the little animations will be like kind of flashing in the back of my eyelids. Yeah, I think phone and video game management is on the list, and I think maybe a little bit of my like being cooked after work might be from like waking and baking. So I think I might have to give up the old wake and bake. I think it actually won't be bad at all. I think it'll actually probably make my days better. Because, yeah, I have like these moments where it's like, okay, I'm vibing out. I can lock into my podcast and my work. But then I have these moments where it's like literally, I want to be anywhere else. Good episode. I would recommend that Josh episode. I'm sure some things will come in and out. During this episode. And then, yeah, the Chris Williamson. Chris Williamson is cool. You know, he's... I don't know, like he's definitely not political, and I think that's kind of why he's made it into the 2025 content like playlist, because it's like there's very little like current event political podcasts or that I have any time for. And you know, I feel like the energy went up, and I felt it. And it might just because I'm so sensitive to it. So I saw a couple posts of just like people being upset, and it was like, are people extra rowdy right now? Is there like is this gonna be a really rowdy summer? Yeah, and I don't know if that's true. I guess I'm in my weird little cast me outside bubble. But Joe Rogan was talking to Chris, and he was bringing up like a lot of the regular talking points, which I don't like necessarily disagree with, but it is old news. And Chris said something funny, like Joe Rogan was like talking about defunding the police, which bad idea. Lost a lot of normal people. A lot of normal people weren't going to follow you down that tunnel of stupidity. Democrats or whoever was pushing that. But then Chris goes, people haven't talked about defund the police in like 2 years, which I thought was good. Just to kind of call it out. It's like, yeah, dude. Hopefully that brand of stupidity has driven itself extinct through social pressure. But you know what was real, and we shouldn't forget it, and we shouldn't forget about the COVID shit. Like he was going off kind of on the COVID lab leak is now in the New York Times or in Time magazine. And it's like, yeah, all those people were the ones who lied and would have us like genocide each other, basically be at each other's throats, us, put each other in the us versus them category, which we already are, but it was like about to get like weird where them weren't allowed to go to stores or weren't allowed to be in certain public events because they didn't go along with, I don't know, the weird, that's the thing that makes me so mad is like, the people who are against fascists are really just against anyone who's not like a leftist, but the fascists are there, and it seems to be like all the corporations. Like, I think people lost the definition of it, and I think when you're not working from the same definition, you're just talking past each other. Because it's like if you pop open a dictionary, is like fascism is like a public-private partnership where like the government takes over corporations and has the corporations kind of do their bidding, which is usually like ideological in nature. And I feel like that's kind of what happened, or maybe it happened the other way around, but either way, the partnership happened where the like pharmaceutical companies came together to pressure the government to force people to, do like implement their policies, which were borderline, when like it was borderline like Nuremberg shit, like experiments, what is it? Consent? Informed consent, yes. Okay, yeah, exactly. It is. So yeah, they have pushing medical products on people without informed consent, and it was very much like, yeah, public human experiment that you're being forced to by the government, that corporations and governments are forcing you into. So it's like, if that's not fascism, then if that's not your definition of fascism, then we don't have the same definition of fascism. And if you want to say fascism is there and that and happened, yeah, let's set up this fucking world so that shit doesn't happen. But okay, I'm just a guy. It's easy to have all the right ethical opinions when there's no skin in the game. So sorry for that, but not really. Well, I think I did. Oh yeah. This was the point. This was our point that I've been running past in my mind. So yeah, okay. Nuremberg. We trialed the people who got trialed. All of those Nazis said, I was just following orders. I'm pretty sure we came to the conclusion that just following orders isn't good enough, bucko. But then you think of the Milgram experiment, the experiment they did in Stanford where they had people shock people to death just under authority, just by following orders. And 60% of people shocked the person to a point that would be lethal. So is just following orders a good defense? Like, it still can't be, but it still is effective to get people to do horrible things. Like, I understand why just following orders can't be like a legal defense, but if it is like sort of a weird loophole in our social programming where we will follow authority figures to this point of homicide, I don't know. Like how do you set up the safeguard so people aren't like led down that path? I don't know, trippy thing, but yeah, it was kind of interesting to hear Joe hit all the talking points that I don't necessarily disagree with, but I'm just over it. I talk about wasting your life on social media, wasting your life arguing if men and women are different, wasting your life if, arguing if America's like the worst place for humans. Like, America's just kind of like this horrible. No, I love it. I love the country. I'm grateful for everything. But you think, is it antagonistic? Is the culture antagonistic to its individuals? It seems like you're just bombarded with. I'm pointing at my phone with just these unproductive, like destructive kind of things, and then we're bombarded with like these manipulative advertisements, let alone the manipulative weird self-programming that happens through social media. like, and the food's bad. It's like, it's like everything's working against you. But yet you have freedom, and you can shoot your guns, and you can say Trump can suck it. But the deck is definitely stacked against you as far as like reaching potential, and I don't want to say being good or feeling good, but like reaching your potential and I don't know, being at peace. But yeah, I wonder if there was anything else on the Chris Williamson episode. I felt like it got kind of hijacked by the lame talking points, which is like, no one's consistent. Everyone who says they're fighting for says they're fighting for one thing, but their actions will show they're fighting for another thing. Or I don't know. Let me see my notes. If there's anything else. Oh, YouTube! I had my 3-year YouTube anniversary, guys. It's basically my 3-year comedy anniversary. And honestly, I went and I did my time. I did 10 minutes yesterday. I'm feeling comfortable on stage. I'm not writing enough. I think I just need to talk about writing and writing and writing until I sit down and find the time and make it like a part of my systems. Maybe that's what I'll try and do with that extra hour of nap time that I'm going to try and cut out. I went up there, I kind of did my thing. I kind of avoided 3 chunks that I feel like I fall back on a lot. And now that I think about it, it's like, maybe I have 20 minutes. Maybe 20 minutes wouldn't be that hard for me. But I definitely don't have that next 10. But April's going to be busy. I got 3 shows in April, so I guess we'll see how all 3 of those go. And I almost feel like listening to like Josh and like him talking about humility and talking about like a lot of people get good at things, and then you wonder why they don't just parlay that into another thing that they're great at. They're just so used to being the top dog, they're not willing to eat shit for years or months. And I'm cramping up. Something similar happens to that with comedy. Like, you have your material that you can deliver, it gets you through the set, it gets you laughs, and you're not willing to say the stupid silly thing you thought of, or you didn't take enough time to invest in that silly idea to make it a structured joke, so it just stays like undefined and unready. But I think I might be in like a weird comfort zone stage with this 15-20 minutes that I have. And I'll talk out of both sides of my mouth. I'll do the material or I'll stop doing the material and start doing a ton of new material, and I'll feel like I never mastered the jokes that were from the like previous 10 minutes of material. So I think I'm gonna stay the course and not stress out about developing new material. Just get through this month, like be super grateful and show up and be a good comedian, or be like as professional as I can for this next month of shows. And hopefully after that month, I'll feel a level of control or mastery over my material that I'll just have extra security there, so I can branch out and write new material and get that next 10 minutes, next 5 minutes up and running. And you know what it is? It's how disorganized it is. It's like there's a joke here, like in my mind, like, oh, this joke, oh, this bit, oh, this bit. And then as I go forward and discover that, oh, I have all this material that I could be doing, all the material that I just thought of kind of this like disappears, submerges into like the unconscious, and it's like you have to rediscover it. I don't know if that made sense, but that is it for this episode of Cast Me Outside. It's been a lot of fun, but we're done. Gotta run. Thank you this time for your time, and until next time, keep on living and loving. Peace.